Happy Saturday evening, everyone. This is Milyssa Lee. Thank you again for coming to my channel. I'm dressed up for Saturday night. My problem is I don't have anywhere to go. Not yet, anyway. Although I've been talking to some new friends, and I found out that there's a whole bunch of places nearby that we could go and hang out that are very TG friendly, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to talk a little bit controversial tonight. I try not to talk politics because it just enrages me. And it may not be for the reasons that some people in my community think. Okay. Because I am a crossdresser. I'm not transgendered, but I totally support the transgender community and other girls like me who do decide to transition. Even the boys transitioning. Everyone should live the life that they feel that they should live as an adult. We had that recent shooting in Kentucky, and it's gotten a lot of people up in arms. And you have the total religious right blaming our community for this. Okay. Then you have the total left, the lunatic left, blaming the right, the religious right, for this. And everyone's at each other's throats. Here's the thing, okay? Here's where I come from. We all needed to knock it the hell off and start stepping up and being better people in general. What happened in Kentucky was a travesty. So was every other school shooting in the last year, 10 years, 20 years since Columbine. Tragedies. And why are they tragedies? Because young people become mentally ill, unstable, warped minds for whatever reason. And it could be someone having issues with being transgendered or feel like they're being picked on by the religious right community. Does that give somebody the right to go in and shoot up the place in revenge? No. Does it give some other kid in a trench coat who's picked on by other friends the right to go with his buddies and kill a bunch of people? No. Killing people, obviously, do I have to spell it out, is wrong. And the ones who are committing these acts have serious, serious problems that need to be resolved. Do we need more gun control? No, not in my opinion. Okay. And I say that as someone who supports the Second Amendment and your right to own guns. I own guns. I have since I was very young. I was taught the proper use of them. I'm not afraid of them. And if the situation ever arose, I could protect myself. Do I think that there's a lot of illegal guns out there? Yes. Do I think that there's a lot of crime out there? Absolutely. We're living in an age where the problem isn't guns. The problem is society. It's we as a people. Now, for the last 20-something years, we've made leaps and bounds towards acceptance in all communities. And then not long ago, and I'm not going to say when because everyone has their own opinion on it, but the rhetoric out there started to change and it started becoming more divisive, more hateful, more us and them mentality, to the point where now everyone is offended by everything. We deal with cancel culture. We deal with people getting beat up for their beliefs. People being ostracized or whole communities being vilified. I come from a very spiritual standpoint, not a religious standpoint, spiritual. And from spiritual, there is no religious dogma. I grew up in a Christian church, and by the time I reached my early 20s, I realized I don't believe all the dogma, all the rules, all the crap that they're brainwashing people with. And even now, I have Christian friends, some of them very fanatically Christian, who do not know about Milyssa. And yet, because I am not a fanatical Christian like them, they tell me I'm going to hell and I'll burn in hell. I even had my brother, who was very religious, tell me that once. Told me he was going to be very sad when we died because he'd never see me again because I'd be burning in hell. No, it didn't go over well when I laughed in his face and told him that was stupid. Um, Now, for you people who are religious, I'm not trying to offend you, okay? You can believe what you want. I'm not trying to force my views on anybody. I am just trying to point out that everyone has the right to live the way they want, as long as they're not hurting anybody else. I believe everybody has the right to pursue whatever religious or spiritual path that they want. I tend to lean towards those spiritual paths that deal with self-enlightenment, a better connection with God or the God source or spirit, however you want to put it. And it's it's between me and God, the higher powers, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I have no use for organized religion. I understand people organize because they want that sense of community and coming together. That's fine. I don't agree with forcing your views on others. And let's face it, religions have been doing that for the last few thousand years, both Christian and Muslim especially. But even if you go back into the Bible, and I read the Bible, I still sometimes read it, but you can go all the way back into the early books of the Bible in the Hebrews. You know, God's chosen people were invading other lands and killing people and sacking cities and forcing their views on other people. This is a human trait. It's not the fault of any one religion. It's a fault of human characteristic and us not pushing more towards a tolerant life, a spiritual life, helping one another. Now, this may seem very naive to a lot of people. That's fine. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. Maybe I am naive. I'm not naive in thinking that everybody's going to suddenly change. No, they're not. Things are getting worse and worse out there. I don't like it. I don't know what I can do about it, except make this video and hopefully reach out to other like-minded people that we can stand together. What happened in Kentucky and then the transgendered protests that happened because everyone was focusing on the shooter's gender identity rather than the fact that this person needed help. This person needed serious help. And every one of these shooting incidences deals with somebody who's very disturbed and needs help. Doesn't matter what background they come from. You know, there's something in their background that's causing them to want to go out and hurt other people because they're hurting themselves. And I see the only way to really work through this is for us to all stand together. Whether you're part of the LGBTQ community, whether you're part of the religious right, whether you're part of the left, I don't care, okay? I really honestly don't care. I do not classify myself as either left or right, conservative, progressive. I'm more progressive than anything, but not to the lunatic extremes that we've been seeing these last few years, especially in the elementary school level. I'm sorry. What in the hell are people thinking? Who thought it would be a good idea to have drag queen story hour for preschoolers and young children? Okay, I love drag queens. I love a good drag show. Anybody who dresses whether you're more conservative dressing like me or you're out there, that's fantastic. But those shows seriously are geared more to an adult audience. Why are you having somebody dress up outrageously and reading to children, trying to force them to understand that lifestyle? I would be much more accepting of someone like me, someone who dresses and looks more standard. I'll say, I don't want to say conservative, but standard, to go in and read to children, and they wouldn't know the difference. If you want somebody totally made up and over the top, get a clown to come in and read. Okay. I'm sorry if I hope I don't offend other sisters in the community with that, but it's true. Children need to be children. They need to be able to just grow up and not think about sex. And not until you start getting in your teenage years and the hormones start flowing, and then you can start talking about sex, gender identity. I understand that kids, when they're younger, get confused about gender identity. When I was 6 years old, I thought I should have been born a girl. Now, did I play with dolls and dress up and want to be a girl so bad that I was dressing and was depressed? No. I just felt something was wrong and I didn't understand it, but I still did all the normal boy things. Had my friends, we were just typical guys, young boys growing up into young men. Now, as I got older, I started to become confused about my feelings. I didn't know what I was. Was I straight? Was I gay? Was I transgendered? I didn't know. It took a long time for me to figure out. And this is why I'm not thrilled with the idea of pushing young people to make radical decisions about their gender identity, and especially when it comes to hormone replacement or any type of surgery. I'm sorry. If you feel that strongly at a young age that you should be the opposite sex, okay, and you want to dress that way, and if your parents are open to that, I'm okay with that. Be prepared to be bullied. Be prepared to have people not accept you for who you are. It's just the way we are. Just being a redheaded ginger identical twin, was picked on so bad in elementary school and in junior high, a little bit in high school, until I started fighting back. And because I was different, but I wasn't expressing my feminine side, just they picked on me because they could, and I let them get away with it. Bullies look for victims. Now that it's more acceptable for younger people, if they want to change and express themselves in school, again, I think that's fine. I think that schools need to be more responsible for providing safe spaces for transgendered or even cross-dressing younger people. When it comes to the bathrooms, okay, don't expect a biological boy to go into the girls' bathroom. Sorry, it shouldn't happen. Yes, they may identify with being a girl, but you know what? They're still a biological boy, and the girls are uncomfortable with that. Just the same way that if a girl comes into a men's locker room, boys' locker room, okay, it's asking for trouble. Now, I hate saying that maybe what we need is a third area. You have a boys' locker room, girls' locker room. You have boys' bathroom, girls' bathroom. What if we have a general bathroom and a general locker room for those people who need it and to be in a safe space? Put our money there, okay, to providing a safe space for kids until they become adults. And the same thing, in my opinion, when you become an adult. And let's say me as a crossdresser, I still have my male parts. If I'm in a restaurant and they only have a men's or women's restroom, I have a conundrum there. I'm not going to sit there and expect to go into the women's restroom. There are other women around, especially. And I'm not going to go into the guys' restroom because I stand a very good chance of getting hurt. Now, if they had a general neutral or a family restroom, as they call them in some places, great. This is the way I think our society needs to start thinking and going, to accept the fact that for those of us who are different, some accommodations need to be made. Now, do I expect to force my gender identity or anything on anybody else? No. And to the other people who are, stop it. Just stop it. It's not helping anything. People are screaming trans rights, trans rights. Okay. People from all different communities are screaming their rights here, their rights there. Fine. We all have inalienable human rights. The right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And we should not be persecuted for who we are. We have to find ways as a nation and even as a world to be more accepting of each other. I turn to the spiritual side. I turn towards things that are more geared towards love and light, towards positivity, not being angry, not wanting violence, not wanting to be out protesting in the street, wearing ridiculous costumes to make a statement. I don't have all the answers. I'm just a normal person. I'm just a girl here talking to you all. And I tell you a little bit about my story, where I come from. I haven't lived like this my entire life. So maybe there's a lot I don't know. Maybe I'm being naive. I just want to open a dialogue. I just want to talk and try to work together with other people to work things out. Now, some people are so ingrained in their beliefs that they will never change, and they will hate somebody else for being different. I actually have a very good friend right now who found out some things about me, very religious, ultra religious. They don't know about this. If they did, they would absolutely lose their shit. But they found out about my spiritual beliefs and think that I'm in league with the devil. We're dealing with ignorance and fear. And how do you deal with ignorance? We educate. You don't force it down somebody's throat. You don't put them in a re-education camp. You do it like you would do with a child. You do it with love and compassion and with understanding. And as someone who is not religious, I'll quote Jesus a lot. I still read the Bible. I love the TV show The Chosen, a phenomenal show. That Jesus in that show is the perfect Jesus for me. Granted, yes, they still follow some tenets of the Bible, but that Jesus is compassionate, loving, and really cares about people. That's the way the whole religion should be. People coming together to become closer to the spiritual, to God, and to each other as a community in general, and not this separate community and that separate community, all of us together. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of blasted comments. You can leave your comments below. I'm not going to turn off my comments. You want to spew hate towards me? Be my guest. Because I'm still giving out this message, and this is the message I will always give out. Let's work together. Let's love each other. Let's learn to accept each other and try to find a way to get through this life. I've mentioned before, I lost my wife a few months ago, sudden stroke. She was the love of my life. And now I have to move on without her. And that's giving me a very unique perspective on life in general. Life is short. Life is too short to hate. Life is too short to point fingers and be angry all the time and to vilify other people, especially for political ends. I can't stand that. Political and religious ends, politics and religion, the two things that are the worst parts of humanity, in my opinion. I'd rather us get together, have a drink, have a glass of wine, let's chat, let's talk. You want to know something about me? I'll tell you whatever you'd like to know. You may not be comfortable with all of it. It's still, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm brutally honest. I'm more honest as Milyssa than I've been in my whole life as my other persona. So that's all I'm really going to say about it for now. I've said enough. We'll see how things go from here. There's a lot more of this that's going to be coming down the pike. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared. I'm scared with where the direction this country is going. There's got to be a change. There's got to be positive change. And it has to start with us coming together as a human race. Period. We come together, not divide, not apart. That's my message. If you have comments, leave them. And my next videos as I go forward, I'm not going to try to be very political. I just really felt the need to get this out. I want to talk more about fun things. I want to talk about living life, enjoying ourselves, and the positivity of life. That's what I want to bring. So that's what I'm going to work towards from now on. And I hope you will join me on this journey. Anyway, have a wonderful Saturday evening, and we will talk with you all again soon. Take care. Have a good evening.